Hey, what's going on, guys? Greg Jenkins here from Monkeypod Marketing, and I want to share with you a response I just recorded for a user in the Infusionsoft open user group on Facebook. So they asked a question. Mary Ruth was her name. Asked a question about how she can get notifications when one of her landing pages are filled out. And she was looking for like a notifications field that she could just pop her email address into. Because that is how a lot of landing page builders work. They have this notifications feature built in. In fact, the legacy landing pages in Infusionsoft did offer that as an option. But with the new landing page builder in Infusionsoft, it doesn't have a native option to get notified when they are submitted. So I wanted to run through a handful of options for how you can get notifications either individually as leads come through, or how you can set it up to notify you in mass, like with a once-a-day batch of the people who have submitted that landing page. So without any further ado, let's take a look. Infusionsoft has two landing page builders. There's the new one, which is not so new anymore, and then there is the legacy landing page builder. The legacy landing page builder does have a built-in notification. On the settings tab here, you can just pop in an email address where you want a notification to be sent when that landing page is filled out. But most people aren't using this landing page builder any longer. It's just not as robust as the newer builder. But because the newer builder doesn't offer a notification option, the way that you would notify yourself or your members of your team when there is a submission is by using actions that you put into a sequence attached to that landing page. So notify team, right? And there are a handful of ways you could do that. To configure those actions, you're going to double click on the sequence itself. You could like send an email to your team. So notify team, and the way you would do that is by building out the email itself, but changing the to field so that instead of going to the contact who submitted the landing page, it goes to your internal team. If you're going to go that route, you just need to make sure that the email address you are notifying is also listed as marketable somewhere in Infusionsoft. But my preferred method, if you want individual notifications, is to use the apply note. Landing page submitted, and you can configure this to be whatever you like in terms of details and language here, but landing page submitted, and you'd say they signed up for XYZ, whatever the topic of the landing page is, or the call to action that the person is opting in for. And then in the notification field here, you can choose one or multiple users. The reason I like this note applied option is because it will also create a historical breadcrumb on the contact record that they did this thing. And so if you go to like a contact and you see in their notes section, you could see like a running history, a time and date stamped history of key interactions. So not only will this tell you about it in the moment, but it kind of leaves a historical record of it on the contact, so that if you ever need to like do any troubleshooting, you know exactly when that submission took place. Now, I will say this: if you're driving a large volume of traffic or you have a lot of opt-ins, getting a notification for each individual one might get a little redundant or repetitive or redundant. And so I often will turn that off for high volume use cases. And instead, I will use a fulfillment list. So I would still keep the note because I think that's important to have like something on the contact record that represents that form submission. But a fulfillment list allows you to batch those submissions and send you like, on a daily basis, here are the people who filled out that landing page. So batch notifications, and on the in the fulfillment list yourself, or in the fulfillment list itself, you can choose, do I want this to go to a user or to an email address? You can choose which of your users or somebody else entirely that you might want it to notify, and you can change that email address there. And you could say batch this job. That's key here. So you could say, send when there are 100 items, but don't wait more than 1 day. So that means that if you get 100 items by noon, it'll send at noon. And then if you get another 100 by 3 p.m., it'll send at 3 p.m. But if you only have like 50 in the course of a day, it'll send at least once per day. Or if you only have 5, right? I'm talking with some larger volume, but oftentimes, lead magnets are getting a single submission a day or only a handful a week, and that's fine too. So you can change these thresholds. The point is that it'll send you a CSV file with all of the people that opted in or are in that sequence, rather than just a single notification per user. So here are the opt-ins from the XYZ landing page today. And the last thing I'll say here is that you can control the fields that are in this, right? So by default, it uses like all of your contact fields. But if you, at this point, if all you have is their first name, last name, and email, then you could delete, any fields that aren't going to be populated just to keep the spreadsheet as clean as possible. Or if you have a custom field that you're collecting on the landing page, like maybe it's a survey and you have like the rating for a specific course that they were filling out or whatever it is, then you can add custom fields to this spreadsheet that will be sent as well. So those are some options for sending notifications to yourself after a landing page is submitted. All right, guys, that is it for this video. Hopefully you've got a couple of options for how you can get notifications when your landing pages are filled out. If you found this interesting, if you are looking for more detailed training, instruction, or advice on how you can use the Infusionsoft Campaign Builder, then I want to invite you to check out the CB Trilogy course. This is one of the Monkeypod courses, and it specifically focuses on the Campaign Builder part of the Infusionsoft platform. There is a free trial, so you could take the first couple of modules for a spin and see if it feels like a fit for you. If you found this video helpful, please feel free to give it a like, leave a comment for me, or share it with someone who it can benefit. That's it for now. Take care, guys.